After what feels like an absolute eternity since it was first announced, Xbox and Playground Games have finally pulled back the curtain on the upcoming Fable reboot. This could be an Xbox game for the ages if it all comes together in autumn 2026. This is going to be an incredible sprawling open world RPG with plenty of choice and consequence, and it's coming to us rather soon. What I wanted to do today then is basically cover the 15 things that you need to know about Fable, as there might have been quite a few details you might have missed. So with that, my name is Fletcher and this is Xbox Nation, and let's just dive right into it. First up, you may be wondering, is this game a new entry into the existing franchise, or is it a complete reboot from what we know and love? Well, this one actually takes place 2 generations after the original trilogy, but the team over at Playground have basically stated that this is not beholden to the same timeline of the original games, and this allows for some major scope. Essentially, this world of Albion is being built how they want to design it, and this means a brand new story and a lot of new things for us to encounter. That said, upon looking at the footage that was shown off and how Playground Games describe this new Fable, there is a lot of faithfulness in the way that they're approaching the game, and it seems clear that they're certainly taking a lot of inspiration from the original trilogy. Ultimately though, and as I mentioned, it is a brand new story, and this means you don't have to play the original games when jumping into this new experience. You might ask though, how does this new story begin? Well, what's great is that Playground Games have given us an insight into how life will start, and yes, you will start the game in classic Fable fashion, and that's as a child. Personally, I kind of love this aspect, as it's a great way to introduce us to our new heroic or not so heroic powers, and then provide some more backstory to our own protagonist. You will grow up and start in what they're calling the sleepy village of Briarhill, and this is where danger will occur, and that ultimately reveals your powers and the fact you'll become Albion's first hero in over a generation. As you may expect, things go south pretty quickly, and not long after, disaster strikes as everyone in your village, including your grandmother, gets turned into stone by a mysterious stranger. Ultimately, you'll then be alone of course, but that means you will set out on an adventure and shape the world of Albion forever. One aspect that I noticed right away after the live stream and upon sort of watching that footage is the open world itself and how the devs are really describing it. You will of course get all the rolling hills, dark corners, whimsical villages and overgrown vegetable patches to explore, but in some shocking news, this is the first time that Albion is going seamless in its world. This basically means you can venture across the broad expanses of this brand new Albion without any loading times, and that also means you can adventure to where you want to right out the gate with no restrictions. The size of the world though has been a bit under wraps still, but considering there is horseback riding within the game, it's kind of safe to say it's going to be a pretty vast experience. The question always remains though, how do the devs go about scaling enemy and difficulty progression in a world like this? We've seen the likes of the Fallout games and even Elder Scrolls and others basically scale up enemies in levels, and it almost kind of restricts you to a narrow play space. However, Fable is tackling this one in a different way. The devs at Playground said that they never wanted to make it a restrictive experience, and that means suddenly finding out there's an area we can't go into because we aren't at a sufficient level. This is a really cool admission from the team, but for having a deeper look, they said that they'll reveal more in due time. If they can really nail that frictionless leveling with an open world, then my word, that is bloody exciting. If you're a massive fan of the original trilogy just like me, then the showing of Bowerstone during the Dev Direct probably had you feeling a certain way. We got an absolutely gorgeous look at Fairfax Castle, the old clock tower, and of course the Heroes Guild. Like the originals, it's going to be a massive main hub which includes a ton of life about it. It will include stuff like quests, rich and poor elements, and then the aforementioned Humphrey, who we've had glimpses of during the previous couple of Fable trailers over the past few years. We also got a very brief look about the north and the surrounding areas of Albion, and this includes some fantastic looking coastlines, mountains, and even the leaked return of Bloodstone. We didn't get a deeper dive or anything into this region other than it being mentioned that there are 2 rival factions vying for control, and that has me extremely excited, as if you remember, this older location has always been very dark and always includes some more sinister storylines in the Fable storytelling. It is safe to say that one of the biggest things that you need to know about the new Fable today is how combat has been completely reimagined, and honestly, it sounds pretty incredible. They're taking the classic Fable trio of strength, skill and will, and then evolving it into what they're calling style weaving combat, and this is where it gets truly exciting and is kind of evolving for this franchise. The goal is said to be total fluidity. This means you can swing a sword, instantly pull out a ranged attack, and then hull a fireball without a single frame of delay. We can finally have a game with no clunky transitions and no menus. It's just smooth cinematic combat that flows exactly how you want it to. game. It kind of reminds me massively of something like The Witcher 3, but without that sort of menu where you need to bring up your different spellbinding powers. It also means that combat encounters are built around groups of enemies, not just one-on-one fights, and that seems really interesting in the grand scheme of things. Playground also mentioned that player expression is going to be front and center as well in that regard. You can kind of choose to specialize in massive damage spells, or you can choose to do precise skill-based attacks or even brutal melee force, as the game isn't telling you how to fight. It's just giving you the tools and then letting you decide, and this might be the most exciting combat system that Fable's ever had. In terms of the enemies we'll be facing, it was only kind of touched on a bit lightly, but I fully expect we'll hear more down the road, but there are new and old returning foes for us to fight. Mobs are of course returning, alongside Balverines, Hollowfolk and Trolls, and that has me so hyped, although we only had a short snippet of Hob gameplay. However, they did actually introduce us to a brand new enemy type this time, which they called a Cockatrice, and this is a massive fire-breathing cockerel. What is cool is that they're adding weaknesses and strengths to each enemy type and class, meaning we'll have to find out how to combat each of these species and how to take them out easier and exploit any options that we can. One thing that did go slightly under the radar was Playground's discussion about the living population within Albion, and this goes way beyond the standard NPC drama. They did mention that there are over 1,000 fully unique characters in Albion, and each of them with a name, job, personality, home, and a full daily routine. That means they'll wake up, go to work, relax, and go to sleep every single day. A mind-blowing aspect is that you can interact with every single one of them, from fully voiced conversations, meaningful reactions, and you can even just follow someone around just to see how their life plays out or completely derail it. Hell, you can even hire them to work in one of your businesses, you can become their landlord, or even evict them and then literally force them onto the streets. That is a really cool system that looks to feed directly into the side quests like the previous games. Many of the best stories in classic Fable of course weren't about saving the world, they were just sort of about messing around with the townsfolk, and that sort of game-in-game feature is back in a very huge way. We all know that morality has always been at the heart of a Fable game, but this time is not going to be black and white. The new game leans heavily into moral grey areas, and more importantly, morality is very subjective. The game won't be judging you, but the people of Albion absolutely will do, and it all looks to vary up in a very big way compared to the originals as well. I mean, one bit of the game overview which they showed was us being a businessman, and then one NPC basically saying we're a rich twat. God, I just love that Britishness. Apparently some choices are rather small, but then others permanently change the world around us. It seems like our choices don't just change the dialogue options this time, they absolutely change the entirety of Albion itself, and this is where Playground games seem to have absolutely nailed that Fableness for me. Finally though, after some pretty outrageous and overdramatic statements from across the web over the past couple of years, Playground have officially confirmed that character customization is here and always was from the start, and it plays directly into how you express yourself in the world of Albion. Fable honestly has always been about shaping your own hero, and that philosophy is looking fully intact here, and I still can't really fathom why anyone thought they would restrict us to a specific character. It's a Fable game for Christ's sake. Again, it was a very brief look and also a mention, but it looks as though our appearance reflects our own actions, reputation, and our lifestyle. The way people will respond to you isn't going to be just about your choices, it's about who you've become. Whether that's a noble hero, a ruthless landlord, or a chaotic menace, Albion's going to react accordingly, and it also unlocks some really cool cosmetics and also visual features on your own protagonist. Many of you will remember though that one of the beloved and most chaotic features of the classic Fable games was just buying houses and businesses across all of Albion. And yes, you can absolutely buy every single one if you so choose to. It will return fully again in this entry, and it just shows again how much love Playground are really pouring into this entry. After doing a little bit more research and looking at the Xbox Wire post, it does seem that this isn't just a money system, it's deeply tied into the living population. NPCs will need homes, they need beds. If you own property, you can decide what happens. You can raise rent, evict tenants, or even turn an entire town into your personal income machine. It makes me come up with some really wild theories in my head and how dastardly I can actually be to the inhabitants of this new fantasy world. Businesses are apparently going to work in the very same way as well, so that means you can hire NPCs, manage income, and just shape in the local economy for better or for worse. Romance is also officially back in Fable, and it's meant to be more involved than we've ever seen before. You'll be able to form real connections with the people of Albion, from flirting and dating to just settling down, even getting married and raising kids with them. These aren't generic NPCs either, as I mentioned previously. Everyone has their own personality, preferences, and obviously opinions that shape how relationships develop. If you do want a quieter life with one partner, the game fully supports that, but if you decide to push your luck by juggling relationships across multiple towns, building multiple families, and dealing with the consequences, then that's very much on the table as well. Yes, because it is a Fable game as well, divorce is very much a thing, because nothing ever goes swimmingly within this franchise. Of course, it wouldn't be Fable though without its British humour, and the developers are fully embracing it, and I wouldn't expect any different from a British-based studio. Think stuff like dry sarcasm, absurd situations, awkward conversations, and that unmistakable tongue-in-cheek tone that are baked into everything that I know and love. NPCs will roast you, and they'll comment on your wealth, your choices, and your reputations, sometimes loudly and often from a safe distance. Even serious moral moments are going to be undercut with wit, irony, and uncomfortable honesty. This humour isn't just for laughs, and instead it just fully reinforces that Fable's identity. It makes Albion feel charming, strange, and alive, and ultimately like the world we fell in love with back on the original Xbox so many years ago. I do have to say though that the wait for this one is pretty real, but at least we now have a confirmation on when to expect it on our Xbox consoles. Fable has officially been announced. It will be launching in autumn 2026 and is coming to Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. This is a massive deal, as Playground Games have really built a great reputation for stunning open worlds, and this is clearly a passion project for that team. This has been rebuilt from the ground up with a deep love for the franchise and a clear goal: bring Fable back in the right way possible. There is no word yet on the pricing or even a potential early access period, but I'm hoping we hear more in the very near future. So, how do you feel about Fable? Are you excited for this new game, and what features do you want to know more about? You'll have to let me know your thoughts on all of it in the comments section below. Make sure to also smash that like button whilst you're down there, and do subscribe, as I will be bringing you more Xbox and Fable content here on the channel in the near future. We are also getting so much closer to 100,000 subscribers, and I would love you to join our incredible Xbox community. Whilst here though, and if you want to check out some more awesome Xbox content, I just covered a massive comparison between the Xbox Series X and S version of Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. It's just launched onto Xbox, and I tell you what, there's some pretty awesome settings here, and they don't look too dissimilar.